I'm Duane Duggan, Remix Boulder Video Podcast. We have a very special guest today from the University of Colorado, Dr. Thomas Thibodeau. Thomas is the Academic Director of the CU Real Estate School. So Thomas, thanks for being here today.
It's my pleasure.
We've had you come speak at our fall real estate conference. The room was packed. Everybody took so many notes. They were so intrigued by what all you had to say today. So we appreciate you being here with all your wisdom today. So,
thank you very much.
So can you start out with telling us a little bit about what you do at the University of Colorado and how the real estate program is, where it got started, and what it became, and what the future looks like for it?
Be happy to. So I'm the Academic Director at the Real Estate Center, and I joined the Leeds School of Business about 13 years ago. I've been teaching real estate for almost 35 years. Prior to coming to CU, I taught real estate at SMU. I also taught real estate at the Wharton School for a year. And as the Academic Director, I'm primarily responsible for two things, and that are the curriculum and academic research. And so I've been modifying, hopefully improving the real estate curriculum for the last 13 years. I'm happy to say I think we have one of the strongest MBA real estate concentrations in the country. We've just introduced a one-year MS in real estate, so students don't have to spend 2 years in graduate school. They can focus in real estate in 1 year and get a graduate degree.
That's fantastic.
And at the undergraduate level, we currently have a certificate in real estate. We have 64 undergraduates graduating with that certificate in May. We also reach out to students in a variety of other ways. We offer general principles classes that any business school student can take. In addition, we currently have a business minor, and we have added a real estate track to the business minor. So the minors program appeals to students throughout the university who are not business school students. So students in economics and in archaeology and architecture and engineering can come and take real estate in the business school. And then we have a general real estate course that any student anywhere in the campus can take. So we reach out to undergraduates in a lot of different ways.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I have to just say real quickly that I'm so honored to be here with this gentleman today, because I actually graduated from the University of Colorado from the real estate school at that time. I think we called it a business degree with an emphasis in real estate. We had a real estate club, and I think Clyde Ritchie was the director at that time. So it's interesting that you knew who he was, even though that now was about 40 years ago when I was attending school. But it's changed a lot, so I'm really honored to be here. So.
I hear that from a number of people that have had Clyde Ritchie and asked, how Clyde has been doing. I think the real estate program took a bit of a lull, and about 20 years ago, some real estate industry people here in Boulder and in Denver, went to the university and asked if they could begin teaching real estate again, and they created the CU Real Estate Council and the CU Real Estate Center. And in fact, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary this April, the 20th anniversary of the CU Real Estate Center.
Wow.
Very exciting.
And part of the thing I wanted to ask you is about how the school, if you will, connects with the community, because I think back to even some of my classmates are still in the real estate business here, and we connect all that time, and part of that bond is the University of Colorado and the community. It's just such a cool thing. So what type of programs are there that helps the real estate school connect with the community?
We have a number of different programs, starting with our student internships.
Okay.
So if you get an undergraduate real estate certificate from CU, you have to take an academic internship class, and in order to take that class, you actually have to be an intern. So you have to have a part-time job in the real estate industry. And with 64 students graduating with that certificate in May, we supply the local community with a lot of interns. In addition, we have internship programs at the graduate level, and then we have mentorship programs for both our undergrads and for our graduate students. So you can mentor an undergrad or an MBA or an MS student if you choose. We also have programs where we invite people to come to campus. We have them talk to our clubs. We have an undergrad real estate club. We have a graduate real estate club. People like yourself come and talk to our students informally, and then we offer opportunities for people like yourself to come and present in our classes.
Okay.
So there's a lot of sort of back and forth with our program. And in fact, we have an executive director, Mike Kirschval, who's the former president of the ICSC, 75,000 member organization. And Mike is responsible for navigating those relationships between the industry and our students.
Okay. If a business is listening to this and they have a desire to have an internship, who do they contact?
We have a website, realestate.colorado.edu, and there are several people there that are listed as contacts. So if you're interested in hiring a graduate student as an intern or willing to serve as a mentor for a graduate student, you contact Katie Latier. And if you're interested in having an undergraduate serve as an intern, or you want to be a mentor for an undergrad, the person to contact is Lisa Chambers.
Okay, so I know that you are so involved with research. I've heard you speak like at our fall conference, and I just love all the stats and the wisdom that you share. As a residential realtor, one of the most common questions we get asked about Boulder is the bubble question. In other words, people go, is it in a bubble or not? I've got the guy to ask right here, so I'm going to ask you, do you think we're in a bubble?
No, absolutely not. And it really is, I'm an economist. I was trained as an economist, and it's really economics 101. And basically in Boulder, what you have is a continuing increasing demand for housing. We continue to attract major employers, Google, Twitter, and a number of other major employers coming to Boulder. The university graduates 5,000 students a year, none of whom want to leave when they graduate. You're constantly increasing the demand for housing. And then on the supply side, the city does everything that it can to reduce supply. They've just extended the building height limit for another 18 months. Well, it's hard to make anything work from a market's perspective when you can't have density. And so you have increasing supply with a very, very limited you have an increasing demand with a very, very limited supply, very little increase in supply. Economics 101 says prices go up. One of the first things I did when I came to Boulder in 2004 was I calculated a price index for the city going back 25 years. And over that 25-year period, house prices in Boulder increased 6.5% per year for 25 years. That's twice the rate of inflation. That's unheard of. I can't name any place else in the country where prices increased 25 years at 6.5% per year.
That's a pretty stable market.
California, has lots of appreciation, but they also had huge declines during the financial crisis. We did not have that decline in 2007, 8, and 9. What we had was a lower transaction volume, yes, but we didn't have a huge decline in prices, maybe 5%,
right,
if as much as that. And so going forward, unless the city changes its philosophy about growth, we will continue to have limited supply, and as long as we continue to attract employers like Google and Twitter, we will have increasing demand and we will have increasing prices.
And it's just a beautiful place to live, right? I really think that's true. So I can't have someone like you next to me and not ask you what you think the effect of the current administration policies and such will have on maybe interest rates and real estate market in general. Any thoughts on that?
Sure. So, right now we're really at the beginning of the administration. It's hard to know what, if anything, President Trump is going to get. His current budget, for example, just slashes the CDBG program, and urban areas require those dollars to renovate slum areas in major metropolitan areas, and that will certainly have an effect on real estate. But I think most of the impact of the current administration is going to be through the financial sector, through capital markets, through interest rates. And there was a study done by Moody's Analytics back before the election that compared Clinton's tax proposals to Trump's tax proposals. And if you look carefully at Trump's tax proposals, most are reducing revenue. So there are tax cuts and a variety of other programs that reduce revenues without much compensating increases. And as a consequence, Moody's was forecasting a yield on 10-year treasuries of 8.5% within 2 years. Now, of course, that assumes that Trump gets all of those things, and I don't have a crystal ball. I don't think that he will, but it's something that is certainly a major concern. So you take that 8.5% and you add the 200 basis points to get to 30-year fixed rate mortgages, and you're looking at mortgage rates in the double digits in the very near future.
Right.
And if you add 300 to 400 basis points for cap rates, you're looking at cap rates in the 12% range. And that, just the thought of that is pretty frightening to any investor.
A little scary. When I started in real estate, I started in the 70s, and then the 80s, pretty much every day I went to work, the rates were going up, and then went all the way to 16. So.
Well, yeah, I bought my first house, and rates were 18 in 1981. They've gone down a little bit since then.
Hopefully we won't get to that, but that is a little bit scary. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you about is just, I view it as a bit of an appraisal crisis in our market now, largely because the quantity quantity of human appraisers has dropped considerably, and there's no new ones coming on because of the entrance requirements. So I'm just kind of wondering what your thoughts are relative to the length of time for appraisals, appraisal fees, automated appraisals coming on. So that's a big question, but just your thoughts on the
Sure.
appraisal process relative to the real estate market.
So honestly, I wasn't aware of the lack of supply of appraisers, but I don't doubt that additional regulation has an effect on that market. I think appraisers really serve two functions, and they're both important. One is to actually provide an estimate of the value of the property, the most probable selling price. The other is to actually audit and make sure there's really a house there, and make sure that the roof doesn't leak and the equipment is functioning and all that other stuff. I think as automated valuation models become more accurate, the value estimation role is going to be taken over by technology for the most part. We still need appraisers to go out and do that auditing. We don't want to be lending money on
Houses
properties
that don't exist.
right? That's a bad idea. So I think the auditing role is always going to be there, or will be there for a while. And I think on the value estimation side, I think technology is going to continue to get better, and these value estimates are going to continue to be more and more accurate. And so I think the value estimation role is going to be smaller and smaller as we go forward. And as a consequence, if they just focus on the auditing part of their responsibilities, we might be able to reduce the time it takes to get an appraisal.
Okay. Well, I tell you, the business has sure evolved in my career, and I'm sure you've seen it in your career too, as far as analyzing all the statistics. And I thank you for being here today. Dr. Tom Thibodeau, thank you very much for being
pleasure.
here today. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have you back again on some other related
Sure.
topics.
Glad to do it.
Thanks a bunch.
Okay.
Remax of Boulder, Duane Duggan, video podcast, signing off.